yoga mat. The only things that I quite like to use are something to pad the knees. So I've got this ultra luxe little rug under my knees, and I like to sit up on something because it just makes my pelvis feel a little bit less kind of crunched over. So if you've got like a little stack of books or a favourite cushion, that's all good. So just grab that and take a moment to just come into a comfortable seated position. So I'm sitting cross-legged, doesn't have to be cross-legged. Maybe you take your legs out in front of you, maybe you kneel, maybe the legs are out wide. However it feels comfy for you to sit, just for a few minutes here. And just beginning to breathe, beginning to tune into your breath. So noticing the breath as it comes and goes. Just as if you're watching the breath as it comes in and out of the body. And one of the ways that we can help ourselves to feel a little more relaxed is by focusing on our out breath, so our exhale. So with each breath out, just allowing the shoulders to drop and relax. Allowing any other parts of the body that are achy or tight or tense just to let go that little bit more. Nice deep breaths. Nice. Now from here, let's start to move the body left to right, and this doesn't need to look like anything in particular. We're not trying to make any shapes. So if it feels okay to you to close the eyes as you do this, you're welcome to do so. We're just starting to find a little bit of length down the sides of the body, starting to maybe touch fingertips one side and the other, allowing shoulders to be nice and heavy, and finding some gentle movement. Breathing nice and deep, ribs filling up with breath. Lovely. Coming over to one side, so placing the right hand down onto the ground wherever you are. I'm going to take the left arm up into the air, finding a nice bit of length down that left side of the body, and you can bring the left arm over towards that right side if you like. It's not essential. And here again, if staying still feels good, stay still, or maybe a little bit of movement might feel nice. Nice deep breaths. Lovely. Coming back upright and to the other side. So left hand down on the ground this time, reaching upwards with that right. And maybe starting to bend a little deeper here. And maybe moving slightly just to start to ease out the muscles around the torso, the ribs, the shoulders. Nice. Coming back to upright. And from here we're going to start to take some circles into the hips. And it's almost like we're stirring. Imagine the spine is kind of stirring around in the bowl of the pelvis. So we're just starting to move all those places around the lower back that might feel a bit sticky, moving slowly and listening into your body here. So if there are places that you want to spend a little bit of extra time on, perhaps you stay there in those spots. Places you want to avoid, coming into the other direction with those circles. Lovely. Coming back to center, and we're going to come into a really nice pose that's great for opening out the shoulders if you're feeling really achy into the shoulders. So bringing the hands out to a T shape. We're going to cross them over in front of the body here. So if this feels like too much, we're crossing one arm over the other and then grabbing hold of opposite hand. If this feels like too much, which it can do, giving yourself a hug. So taking hold of opposite shoulders and giving yourself a hug here gives you the exact same stretch. So taking the option that feels right for you, just working into those shoulders, allowing that expansion across the back of the body here. And again, sometimes movement can feel nice with this. So as you take a breath in, maybe elbows draw up towards the ceiling. And as you take a breath out, elbows draw down. 2 more breaths like this. Lovely, letting those arms go, coming out to the side. And then we're going to cross over the opposite way. So I'll show you the eagle pose with the arms up, so they're twisting around each other, just grabbing a hold of the hands. And maybe moving here, allowing that movement to gently stretch between the shoulder blades. One more like this. Cool. Just letting those arms go. We're going to make our way over now to our hands and knees. So just taking away anything that you've been sitting on. Making sure that you're really nice and comfy in this position. So hands nice and far apart, knees nice and far apart. You can tuck the toes under for support if you like. And to begin with, we'll just start to wiggle hips side to side. We're starting to ease out any little aches in and around the hips and the pelvis. It's really, really common to feel so stuck around the pelvis and the hips, especially when you sit a lot. So if you've got a desk job or if you're driving a lot, it can cause this kind of sense of stuckness and achiness. So we're just starting to move here into those hip joints, finding circles. Lovely. Now from here, untucking the toes, placing the tops of the feet onto the ground, and we're going to come into some cat and cow, which is the movement where we tip our spine from one direction to the other. But this time, what I'd like you to really focus on is the upper back. So keeping the lower spine nice and steady here, we're going to really use our hands to press our shoulders so that we're really rounding through the upper back. So press the shoulders to round and then look forwards to open out the chest. Nice. Taking a few rounds like this, just moving into the spine. And again, we're finding this place where we're just getting some movement back into the sticky parts of our bodies. 2 more breaths. Really pressing through those hands to round the shoulders. Lovely, coming back to neutral. Now from here, we're going to take our right foot forwards. So we're coming into a low lunge position. And what I like to do when I'm in a lunge is take the knees really nice and far apart. So you can see here, I take my feet probably as far apart as the mat, just to keep me nice and stable. So from here, if you're comfortable, you can bring the hands down onto the ground if you'd like some support here, or you can come upright, your choice. What we're going to do from here is start to either rock backwards and forwards, moving into that hip, or perhaps you start to find a little bit more of a kind of circular movement. So we're just working the range of motion in our hip joint here. Circular movements are so great for kind of unsticking and getting rid of tension. Lovely. Really nice. One more. Now drag that right knee back so it's next to the left have a little wiggle through the hips, through the spine, through wherever needs a little care. And then we're going to come over onto the other side, so this time left foot comes forwards. And setting up, being fussy about your layout here, taking plenty of time, and then starting with those movements around into the hip joint. And knowing that it is super common to feel very different in one hip from the other. So we're just working with our body exactly as we find it. Breathing nice and deep. One more breath here. Gorgeous. Bringing that left knee back so it's next to the right, having a final wiggle. And from here we're going to take a little rest. So grabbing hold of a cushion or a pillow if you've got one. If you haven't, don't worry, you can totally do it without. So we're going to come into a child's pose. So we're going to take our big toes together, knees nice and wide apart. And if you've got a long cushion like this, we are just going to lie down. So if you're pregnant, you can take the cushion a little further away so there's space for the bump. And we're just going to lie down over this and allow the upper body to relax. So placing the chest on the cushion. And here really just allowing the shoulders to completely relax down. Taking 2 more breaths. Gorgeous. When you're ready, hands walk back underneath the shoulders and pushing yourself back up. I hope you feel a little less stuck and achy after that practice. Thanks, and hope you will be able to join me on the mat again soon. Take care, bye.